We've been managing the Riverwalk here in Durham since February 2020. Initially, our instruction from the landlord was to establish and manage a street food restaurant on the scheme. That led in time to our property and asset management services in February 2020.
The client instructed us because they wanted to improve tenant satisfaction within the arcades and the whole Castle Quarter, and really to drive forward their asset management strategy, improve the tenant mix, get more tenants in, and there's now a huge development going on which is fantastic and going to be a real plus for Cardiff in general and the arcades specifically.
The centre here changed hands in November 24, so still quite recent, and Tandem are the appointed managing agents for Cube RE, who are our client.
One of the main problems was tenant dissatisfaction within the arcades. They are obviously old arcades and they need a lot of TLC in terms of maintenance and repairs, and that is something that hasn't been particularly well taken care of over previous years. We also have a very difficult building in the sense that these are Victorian Georgian arcades and they weren't necessarily built with modern standards of health and safety in mind. So there are huge challenges in terms of getting things repaired.
So the main problem that we encountered and that we worked through was understanding the correct level of services and the scope of contracts. So although we had inherited a lot of the scopes from the previous owner, we needed to see if there was the correct level for this size of asset and the age. So there were some things that we had to look through, which was the age of the M&E equipment, understanding the current footfall levels and how this correlates to the consumption and waste tonnage, and also understanding the behaviours of the consumers, whether they came here for casual shopping, for working, for parking, or they actually lived here. And then from here, identifying the key issues and then making the appropriate adjustments to the costs and essentially saving the client money.
I think we were looking at occupancy, so the tenant mix, and also trying to focus on filling those voids. We weren't really tracking footfall, so it's hard to kind of improve on that and make sure it's a real draw without knowing kind of trends and who we're attracting. So establishing footfall counters, and I think just improving the public realm really. So looking at more consistent vinyling. We were trying to improve the branding and look at, I guess, further signage and digitalising a lot of that signage too.
The first challenge was COVID, which hit within about 4 weeks of our management beginning of the scheme. That obviously required us to do a lot of work liaising with tenants in terms of agreeing rent plans during that period of turbulence. We were able to successfully deliver some strong cash collection during those troubling years. The bigger challenge was probably more the fact that this was a brand new scheme. This was a redevelopment of what had been an internal shopping centre to an open air restaurant and leisure scheme as it is today. So initially we did a lot of work through our marketing team and our team here on site in trying to build up that brand awareness. The local population came to recognise what the Riverwalk was in its new entity.
Following on from the problems that we encountered when we started, we have spent a lot of time in terms of tenant engagement. Now, tenants passing through the arcade, they say hello, they know who we are, they want to come and talk to us, they want us to help them, and that's what we're here for. One of the other things that we've done very, very well is appointing the right person to be the on-site operations manager. And the feedback we have from the tenants since he's joined and since we've taken over is just fantastic.
We have worked really hard to reach a benchmark level, but we're always looking at opportunities, certainly around the marketing. The biggest way we can support our client is to support our occupiers in terms of marketing, because the more money they take, the more secure they are. And nowadays, more and more leases have a turnover top-up or a turnover element. So our understanding and actually capturing the turnover figures and talking to our retailers and feeding that back to our client is critical actually to the business success and the investor success on site. With regard to the visitor experience, for us it's very much about providing the appropriate environment. We have showcases, we bring product out onto the malls, so it feels like a retail environment, not just a sterile cut through. And you'll see we're quite a busy shopping centre as well, and 6.7 million people you have a duty of care for, so Can't please all of them, but I'd like to think we've pleased most of them.
So as this was a new site, we had to establish a new service charge from scratch. The core services on this site, this is open to the public 24/7, 365 days a year. So security and cleaning have been two of the key services that we deliver. Our mandate from the client has been to deliver costs in line with real living wage. So we ensure that all of the staff employed on this scheme are paid at least that real living wage rate.
There are quite a lot of metrics within a retail environment. Some of it is gut feel, some of it's standing on the mall feeling it. In terms of marketing, we measure a lot of KPIs which are reported to the client. We use an app to communicate with all our occupiers so that we can communicate with them as well, whether it be Facebook, online, events. We have some events, but a lot of our marketing is strategically across digital platforms now, so those are very important to us. In terms of the visitor experience, it's really just general feedback from our customers, feedback from our occupiers, and ultimately it comes down to spend. If the spend is good, then the experience is good.
We inherited the West 12 brand, so we've been going through a bit of a brand evolution with that, trying to modernise it a little, making sure that any key touch points, it's very visible, and also getting that name out there to the public. So we've launched an Instagram account absolutely from scratch, so trialling small areas of paid advertisement. We know that this is a real community centre, it's a real community resource, so we've really been trying to kind of hone in on those audiences and demographics.
So we've tried to take advantage of the open air space we've got and the stunning views across the river to the castle and cathedral to really put on a full course of events during the course of a year. The driver for that really has been to drive footfall onto the scheme and improve the experience for our occupiers. So when we inherited this scheme, there was no event schedule in place. Our destination marketing team have engaged with the occupiers and the landlord to put in place a full series of events during the year. So that's everything from Easter egg hunts, book giveaways, dinosaur-themed visits to the usual Christmas events that you'd expect to see. In terms of measuring the success of those events, that's done threefold really. It's through feedback from occupiers on their trading performance during those events. It's through the footfall metrics that we get on a weekly basis here, and also through general social media presence, impressions, likes, to see how that's increased our social media profile.
It's difficult for me to say in terms of the historic tenant mix, but certainly over COVID times things will have changed, and now we've got well over 50% of the occupiers are F&B outlets. They're all doing very well. We've got more to come later in 2025.
Oh, absolutely. I think all high streets and all shopping centres have seen a shift towards experience that we've already talked about. You can't have your haircut online, you can't buy a cup of coffee online, you can't have your dry cleaning done online. And those retailers now that we'd say were traditional high street stock are very much looking at their visitor experience. So maybe not in a market town like Horsham with a slightly older demographic, but certainly when you go into cities, you have fitting rooms with AI in. You have coffee machines appear where you wouldn't expect them, because the difference between buying a blouse from retailer X online and coming into the store is that you have an experience. And I think since COVID, where we got very clicky happy, retailers now are very good at blending their digital and their bricks and mortar. And certainly for us in Horsham, click and collect is massive.
So with W12, it's more driven to food and beverage, supermarkets and variety stores such as Poundland and One Beyond. To essentially cater to the needs and the convenience of the community opposed to the wants. With fashion retailers who predominantly use online shopping, you've definitely seen a drop in their revenue, which they can't sustain their overheads as they did 10 years ago.
Sustainability has been a key part of the service that we've delivered here, particularly in two areas, energy management and waste management. So as well as the public-facing public realm areas which are open 24/7, we've also got two internal car parks, one of which is open 24/7. So as you can imagine, the energy consumption on this site is considerable. We've both installed LEDs throughout the scheme and also put sensors in areas where there is sometimes low usage to make sure that we're just managing that energy consumption as best we can. We then monitor that on a quarterly basis with the landlord to ensure that we're not missing any areas or any further improvements that we can make. In terms of waste management, we collect and dispose of all tenant-generated waste on this site. So again, the waste generated here is substantial.
You're definitely more conscious about the key utility services such as electricity, gas, water and waste. So you need to understand what is a typical consumption and waste tonnage. This will allow you to agree appropriate contracts, which is cost effective with the correct tariffs. Also flagging discrepancies in any costs, but also making for allowances when you do see spikes in consumption or waste tonnage.
I think for me and my team, sustainability and ESG is critical and spreads through the DNA of everything we do. If there is an opportunity, whether it be around social value and community or energy saving or waste, we like to take best practice benchmark as our base if we can. So there's been a lot of work recently around waste, and it's something with Tandem we've had the freedom to actually change our waste supplier because Tandem are a lot more agile in terms of their supplier base. So the launch of food waste on the 1st of April has been big for us. We've got 60 retailers all embracing it from day one, which was some feat.